Welcome back. I've grabbed myself an apron on the way out of Fareshare and I've made my way to my place. I'm going to have a bit of a look in the freezer and a bit of a look in the pantry right up the back and see what I can find to come up with a meal for you guys today. Hopefully there's some goodies in there because I don't want to destroy my credibility too much. So let's have a look in the freezer then. So opening it up, it's always a little bit confronting, but straight up I can see a pie. So I reckon I'm going to put that in the oven and that's easy. Nah, just kidding, just kidding. So I'm looking in here, I've got some puff pastry, so that's got to come out first. Always a good base to start with, puff pastry. And I've got some beef mince in here as well, so I'm thinking something with puff pastry and beef mince. Got some veg as well. All right, and I know I've got a few spices in the cupboard, so I'm thinking that we'll go with curry puffs then. Nice easy one for you guys to have at home, and I reckon you've probably got most of that in your freezer. So I've grabbed all my ingredients now, along with a little bit of curry powder out of the cupboard as well. So now that the pan's nice and hot, in we go with our beef. You can hear that sizzle away. And you just want to break it up now. You don't want to get any big chunks of meat because you're not going to have that much filling in your curry puffs. So you want to make sure it's nice and small so you get a bit of everything in it. So this should take about 2 or 3 minutes. We're not trying to cook it, we're just trying to brown it off. So when I'm making things like this just out of the cupboard, I mean, you tend to drop off a few ingredients. So I'm not putting any garlic or onion in because I just don't have any. But if you're going to go and shop to make this, then it would be a little bit different, but all the flavour will still be there this way. So now that you can see that this is browned off, it's time to add your veg. The reason why I haven't added my spices in yet is because if you put them in too early, then they're going to burn and you're just going to get sort of a burnt flavour through the whole thing. You're not going to get any flavour from the spices at all. So you can see now that the colour of the veg is really vibrant and that means that they're cooked, they're defrosted. So it's time to add our spices. So be quite generous with your spice because there's not a whole lot of other flavour in this dish, so it's sort of like how you would use stock in a risotto. It gives it a really great base flavour. So I'm putting in 3 teaspoons. I make my own curry powder, so there's no dried chilli in mine, so I can add as much as I like. If it was the bought stuff from the supermarket, I would have added about half a teaspoon. So you can see that taking on the colour now from the curry powder. And you can smell all those spices toasting up nicely. So once you're happy that your spices have come to life, they've toasted up nicely and it looks the right colour as well, then it's time just to pop that in the fridge to cool it down. So I've got my pastry now all ready to go. I've got my cooled mix and I've just got an egg here for some egg wash. This just helps the pastry stick together, but also gives it that beautiful golden colour when we bake it. So, give that a bit of a mix with your pastry brush. Could use a whisk if you want, but that's just more dishes, so. So all we want to do now is portion this up. Because this is for dinner, I'm going to make them a bit bigger, but you could also use this same thing for cocktail foods, but just make them a bit smaller. So I'm just going to cut that into 4. Just spoon on your mix. The reason why we make this mix cold is because if you put it in here hot, then it's going to melt the pastry, and when you go to cook it, all the layers in the puff pastry are all going to be sort of formed together and you're not going to get that nice crispy puff. So, mix goes in. Now we just want to go around the edges on 2 sides now. You don't want to get too much egg wash on or it'll just make it soggy. So grab your edge. I've been very ambitious with how much mix I've put in these, but hopefully it'll be okay. So down that goes. You just want to seal that like that. And then I'm just going to use a fork just to make sure that seal is there. So nice and easy and quick. And then give that one more egg wash now, just over the top, so we get a nice beautiful golden colour to it when it bakes. And I'm just going to peel that off and pop that on our greased baking tray. So now we're just going to pop these into a nice hot oven at about 220 degrees for around 8 to 10 minutes, just until they're nice and crispy and that beautiful golden colour that the puff gives us. Well, these look absolutely amazing, just how I'd pictured them in my head. I'll put a couple on the plate here, but the true test of this will be in the flavour. So, let's cut this bad boy open. And that tastes absolutely fantastic. The best thing about cooking dishes like this at home is that you save a lot of money. And the best thing about saving a lot of money is we've still got DVDs available. But stick around, because I've been looking around and I reckon I can put together an amazing dessert after the break. I'll see you then.